What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Ifs, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened, we reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Ifs.
Well, I first heard Eminem's music at Jimmy Iovine's house. He just happened to have gotten Eminem's tape maybe a couple of days before. And he actually got it from an intern that used to work at Interscope. He popped it in and I heard it, and I thought it was incredible. At this time, I had no idea he was a white guy. I didn't find that out until a few days later. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? I really need to meet this guy. The first thing that we did was Hi, My Name Is. I had already prepared a sample that I thought he would sound great on. Immediately after I put it on, he just went, "Hi, my name is..."
All right, welcome back to Hip Hop What Ifs. We are back. My brother Kyle, how are you doing?
What up, man? Always good to be back, man. Good to be talking hip hop, man. Looking forward to this conversation, man, as always.
Yeah, I mean, before we get into our main topic, man, have you been seeing the Mount Rushmores that have been that have just been rampant online now? Since somebody got an AI situation going.
I've seen the Mount Rushmores for rappers. I've seen it for athletes. I've seen it for actors. Hell, somebody even put one up for porn stars. So, like,
I saw that one.
It's getting crazy out here.
That breaks down the porn stars, like you know what kid I'm talking about?
I saw the dude. He was in the bathrobe.
Yes.
I saw the dude. I don't know where that loser came from, but
it was funny to me, man.
It was hilarious because he was breaking it down like it was like he was watching NFL Live or something. Like he was
got past all the algorithms of like anything in like any like bad. Talking about it in but he got around it where you wouldn't even know unless you knew what he was talking about.
Exactly.
You wouldn't even know.
Yeah, he broke it down to the very last compound for real.
Yeah. So as you all have seen from the title, we're going to talk about one of the people on the Mount Rushmore that keeps getting knocked around. Mm-hmm. The quintessential, I guess we will talk about that. What if Eminem never signed to Dr. Dre in Aftermath? All right.
Yes, indeed.
So Eminem, known for the battle raps at was it not the Cosmic Slop Shop? It was the hold on, I got it in my notes here. The Hip Hop Shop.
Hip Hop Shop in
Hip Hop Shop in so 8 Mile, everybody, that's basically a similar thing that Eminem came up in, but it was actually a t-shirt jean shop. So they would break it down from the store. Maurice Malone, I think Maurice Malone owned it. Remember Maurice Malone jeans and t-shirts?
I remember that. Yeah.
That's his shop, I believe.
Wow, I did not know that.
And they would break it down and they would do hip hop in there. On I think it was on Saturday nights. I'm looking at my notes. Saturday nights on 7 Mile. So Proof from D12 was up in there. He was the host. People that know, rest in peace to Proof, but Proof looked like the what was the character name at 8 Mile? They made him
was a character played by
Future.
Mekhi Phifer.
Future. Yep. They called him Future in there. That was Proof. In real life, he literally had dreads like that. Even though Mekhi Phifer had dreads, was horrible with the wig, but they tried to recreate it. So at the time, Eminem was grinding through that, off and on, trying to do his thing. Of course, if taking you back to that time, and maybe even still, Kyle, white rappers were like finding a white buffalo in rap at that time. Previously, before we had Third Base, we had Beastie Boys.
Right.
I mean, do you remember Young White Teenagers?
Vaguely. Yeah.
The dude, the white guy in House Party 2 was the lead rapper in the group. Jamal.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Jamal, right.
Yeah. So
right.
I mean, I'm trying to think. We'd already had Vanilla Ice.
Yep. Snow.
We had Snow. I'm just trying to get all the previous white rappers. What Ari the Rugged Man was Ari the Rugged Man already popping?
Somewhere around there, yeah, around that time, yeah.
Ari the Rugged Man, we have to give him his roses. Am I missing any white rappers that were popping? Milkbone.
Oh yeah, keep it real.
Keep it real. And what was it? Keep it real. Was it Keep It Real the one he had that was the big popular one with?
Yep.
Because he was on Kid Capri's label, right?
I don't know. I don't remember whose label he was on, but the Keep It Real song was and still is a very popular hip hop song. I use the instrumental on my podcast all the time.
Yeah, that boom, boom.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it's like 18 minutes long, so I love it.
Oh, the original is 18 minutes.
Yes. Well, maybe the version that I have, maybe I have it a loop. But
okay,
yeah, it's like 18 minutes. Yeah,
no,
just instrumental. It's instrumental.
Okay, I don't need you Milkbone for 18 minutes.
Nah, the original song probably about 4 minutes.
Okay. I'm trying to think of any other white rappers that were big. Was it anybody down south? I mean, because really, Paul Wall would be the first one for down south. No, Little White would be the first one down south, I think, for with Hypnotized
Little
Mind.
White. Wow.
Trying to think of the white rappers. I'm thinking of previous everybody before them. West Coast wise, Lighter Shade of Brown was all Hispanic guys. Funk Dubious Hispanic guys. Somebody's going. Was Atmosphere and Atmosphere out? Let me see. Atmosphere.
I don't even remember Atmosphere.
They're two white. They pretty dope, man. Let me see when did Atmosphere come out. Atmosphere dropped. They dropped before Eminem, 97.
Okay.
Yeah, they were first album Overcast. You know the rapper Blue? BLU?
BLU, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in their crew. That's all the same kind of crew.
Okay.
Together. They're out of Minneapolis. Well, was Brother Ali out before him?
Brother Ali was probably
after
mid-20s, 2010, I think, around that time. I think. Okay. I'm not sure.
So Brother Ali, let me see here. I just want to give all the white rappers. I mean, if you were previously before Eminem, I want you to get all your just due.
He might have been around the same time as Eminem, I guess. I'm not even sure.
First 2000. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's around that time.
Right.
Whatnot. Any other white rappers that were coming up, please put them in the comments. I would love it.
Yeah, definitely.
If it was somebody you knew from where you from that kind of blew up, hey, I'm willing to, check them out. What you call it? It was another battle rapper.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
While he searches for that, I mean, like if you guys are listening and watching, you can definitely. I'm sure that there's a white Mount Rushmore.
White was his name.
There. What's his name?
Smack White.
Wow. Never heard of this dude before in my life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So Eminem is basically. I mean, I wouldn't say it's an uphill battle because I mean that's kind of real. I mean, I guess was it an uphill battle for Eminem? You think?
Oh, definitely. I mean, because ultimately, when you step into the arena of hip hop, it was, dominated by us because for a long time, that's all you saw was us. And, even for women, it was difficult, but it was definitely difficult for somebody who wasn't black. So, you had to, if you stepped to the microphone and you were an MC, you had to be dope. There was no ifs and buts about it. So, while we had, like you mentioned, Third Base, we had Beastie Boys in the early to mid 90s, mid 80s to late 80s. When you had a novelty act like Vanilla Ice, it didn't land well because people didn't think he was authentic. We thought that, Third Base and Third Base and the Beastie Boys were very authentic. In fact, I tell the story all the time, D, about how the first time that I heard the Beastie Boys was on my local radio station, and I think it was Paul Revere. I think that was the song
the general top 40 station.
Yeah, just a regular black music station, and I heard the Beastie Boys, and I love the song, but I didn't know they were white. And then when I went to the record store, shout out to the record stores, went to the record store to buy a license deal. So I actually purchased the tape. Not that it matters, but I didn't know that they were white. I honestly did not know.
If I remember, they weren't even on the cover.
No, the cover is an airplane. It's the back of an airplane.
Right. So they did the Tina Marie on it.
Hey, you had no way of knowing. So and there was no, at the time, there was no video. So I had no way of knowing. So it was, and full disclosure, like for someone my age in that era in the 80s, especially the late 80s, a lot of times we bought albums tapes based on the album cover. So if you had a dope album cover, I mean, everybody couldn't have an album cover like Ice-T. So with Darlene on the cover or 2 Live Crew.
Or that power cover.
Exactly. Or that power cover or the 2 Live Crew, as nasty as they want to be. Everybody couldn't have covers like that. But a lot of times your album cover signified how dope you were, or maybe it was interpreted that you were. So you just bought the album. So yeah, I bought License to Ill, not knowing what color these guys. I just assumed that they were black, but I just knew they were dope. And that was my Beastie Boys story. I just didn't know.
Yeah, that's funny that you. I mean, and I'm looking back. I guess you wouldn't. When did you realize they were white?
Probably maybe a week or two after I bought the tape, which was, I bought it maybe a couple of months after it was out. I think something about Brass Monkey or something like that when I was listening to it. And then somebody, I was talking to one of my homies, and he was like, "Man, them dudes white, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "They white." And then I started listening to the music a little bit closer, and I was like, when you listen to Fight for Your Right to Party, I mean, like it's, it just, but I honestly, it never clicked. It never clicked until I was probably about a weekend to the tape. And when I had it, and like I said, I was talking to my homeboy about it. I was like, "Man, this dope, ain't it?" He's like, "Yeah, he's dope. He's made some dope white boys." That's what he said. He's like, "They are some dope white boys." I was like, "What you mean white?" He's like, "Them dudes white." And again, this is 86, I think. So there weren't a lot of videos in it, and there was no Rap City.
No.
Was it? Huh?
Did they have any video for that first album?
Not that I can remember. They may have, but I don't remember any videos.
Yeah, and if anything, they weren't playing no hip hop.
I mean, Fight for Your Right to Party was the video that I remember, but that was like, that wasn't even their lead single. That was like their second, or that might have been the third or fourth single.
That video didn't come out until 87.
Exactly. So the tape came out in 86.
Right. So you got to think that's a whole.
Yeah, it was another year. So I mean, like, I was already in, and like I said, I had the tape for about a week. And I was talking to my homeboy about it, and he said, "Yeah, those some dope ass white boys." I was like,
"So you didn't realize who they were from Crush Groove at the time?" Like,
nah, I never made the correlation. Never. And again, we didn't have the internet, so
it's not.
A lot of stuff we found out by trial and error. A lot of stuff we found out by word of mouth. Some of the stuff we found out wasn't true. So
at one point we'd have to discuss. I remember at one point my neighborhood was going around that was Lisa Ray and Brenda's Got a Baby. And it was like,
Lisa Ray and Brenda's Got a Baby.
No, it's not.
The video I saw is her.
That's
Lisa
not her.
Ray, the actress?
Yeah, that's not her. I just seen an interview with the actual real girl, like maybe.
Oh wow, she looks just like Lisa. I just assumed that's her.
No. I just found this out for sure a year or two ago because I saw her being interviewed.
Wow,
the actual real girl that played Brenda.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. For years, we thought that was Lisa Ray, and she never stopped people and told people. She just rolled it out, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, because the girl was talking about, she was like, "Yeah, they said that Lisa Ray was got a role because they thought that she already had acting from the Pac video."
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Her name is Ethel Proctor, aka Ethel Love.
Yep.
She was 17 years old at the time and was cast after her brother DeAndre Papadoc, after Tupac friend recommended her. Wow. I assumed that was her. I assumed that was Lisa Ray.
No,
wow.
Dude, it looked just like her though, like a younger version of
it. Wow.
But like this, that's what I said for us kids. That's the thing. That's why we would just go on stuff like this.
Yeah, we didn't know. I mean, and there was no Google, so there was nothing to verify. So
the I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
If somebody said something happened, it just happened. Like, you know, it was, I tell people all the time, like one of the benefits of coming up in that era, the pre-internet era, was like everything that you heard, you just believed. Like there was no way to verify stuff. So it just was what it was.
Fun finding out.
Yeah, it's just fun finding out stuff. And there's some things that you learn, like me today. I'm finding this out all these years later. Because if you hadn't said that, I would have went on life thinking that was her. Wow. I don't know who this Ethel Love is. And she got an Instagram and everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I found her and I was like, what? That's not Lisa Ray.
Wow. I just saw that video probably about a couple of weeks ago.
Which is an awesome video for the record.
Yeah, it is.
Like Pac came onto the scene in a good way.
Right.
All right, man. Let's talk about a little bit more of Eminem, man. I'm trying to fix my camera here. It's messing up.
Wow, they got last thing, they got a side by side I'm looking at.
Yeah,
and she looks just like Lisa Ray. Man, shout out to Ethel Love though. She looks just like, wow.
Yep.
You couldn't have told me anything different. Wow.
So Eminem is trudging through everything. He ends up signing to he has a group called New Jacks with Proof that they started in 92, man. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Then they dropped the EP in 95 called with Proof. Then he would start getting down, and you may have known this. I'd heard this maybe a couple of years ago, but I didn't know he was kicking it with the Outsiders in New Jersey for a while.
That I did not know.
Wow. Yes, Eminem was.
Okay.
So Eminem was kicking with the Outsiders for a while. Then he signed to FBT Productions and drops the first album that people went back to check out, Infinite, in 96.
Mm-hmm.
Which didn't do well. They said people were saying that. I mean, I remember I heard it. He does sound like AZ a lot of it. And it's like, oh my God, it's a white dude being AZ. Mm-hmm. You know, I get it's probably how people feel when they hear Action Bronson towards Ghostface.
Oh my God, he sounds just like Ghostface.
He does sound like Ghostface. So he went back to the drawing board because people are like, do you sound like Nas or AZ or somebody like that? So he went back to the drawing board. Still grinding, still doing his thing, still winning battles at the shops, and his tape, the Slim Shady EP, first is the first thing it gets in the hands of the Source Magazine's unsigned hype section. All right, so we have to just go back and to explain people unsigned hype. Unsigned hype before previously was run by it wasn't Dave Mays, was it?
No, it was Maddie C, I think.
Maddie C, yes, because Maddie C left him with the Loud Records.
Yep, exactly.
Maddie C ran this, and it was basically people were sending their stuff, and you get a write-up, and they would say like, hey, this is the next guy coming. He's unsigned. He's not signed to any label. And people that have been through unsigned hype are Common, Biggie, Eminem. I believe who else has been in? I think those are the main big three that people would know.
Biggie was huge because Maddie C was the one that was responsible for getting Biggie's tape into Puffy's hands, and as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, so they have every one of them listed. Wow, this is awesome. Somebody did a great job with this. All right. Let's see. So let me see anybody that was big. DMX was on here in 91.
Okay, wow.
Who is Top Quality?
And when you check, for those of you listening and watching, when you check the Source magazine, that was one of the features that you would check. Who was that particular edition of the magazine's unsigned hype? And you would always want to see what the write-up was. But the thing about it was that even if you read the write-up on somebody like Big or Eminem, there was no place for you to like just go. There wasn't a link for you to click and find their music. You had to like physically go out and try to find it. So it was still like, it was still going to be a long shot, but at least they wanted to put those people on. So
I'm gonna give some other quick notable names. Saphir was on here with comment as well. Poetical Prophets, who is Mobb Deep.
Yep.
Artifacts, Mad Skills, known as Skills now. Oh man,
Skills.
His Skills. Capone Noriega.
Okay.
J Live, David Banner.
Wow.
And then Eminem 98. Eminem's the last of the notables, and that was in March of 1998.
Okay.
I thought Natural Source was in there too, which was I can't remember if that was that or in the vibe. That's Jean Grey's group, Natural Resource. I thought they got highlighted too. Maybe I could be tripping. Maybe I'm tripping because they're not listed on here. But so he gets on there. Now people are starting to ring him up. Everybody's ringing up Eminem, trying to get him. And then he goes to the 1997 Rap Olympics. So this is for your MCs of MCs event. I believe Skills won 1 year, or he beat the Supernatural, or he lost the Supernatural the year he won. I think Skills did win it though. I think the Rap Olympics the year he was in it. So he gets there. He comes in second. Eminem lost the Supernatural.
Okay.
In the finals in 97. So then it was an exec from Interscope that was there that got his tape in front of Jimmy Iovine, who then passed it on to Dr. Dre.
Okay.
At Aftermath. At first, Dr. Dre did not want to mess with him. He was like, my dude, like, no, I'm not doing that. And he kept listening to him, and he was like, okay, this might work. So he brings him in. I believe 4 or 5 of the songs from the Slim Shady EP that were brought on ended up going onto the opus that we first hear called the Slim Shady LP that drops in 1999. Goes crazy, triple platinum. The big song, Hi, My Name Is, goes crazy. And the man at Eminem, as we know today, blasts off and becomes everyone in their household name. All right. So what do you think about this scenario for Eminem? Because Eminem, like, people can say if they want, he may not be making great music now, but to think that he started in 91 grinding, 88 grinding it out. Was it the Outsiders in New Jersey in the hip hop shop, signed hype? He went through vacillate through all your levels that you would say that this MC had to go through to become somebody. Do you think he would be as big without Dre?
No.
And also, he was on those Bad Meets Evils as well with Royce the 5'9". They were doing those as well right before that.
No, obviously, he would not have been as successful, I think, had he not met and been produced by what the hell is that? Is that mine or yours?
That's
the thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is this going on?
Well, go ahead. Kyle.
Okay, you got to record?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Damn, I forgot. What's the question?
Yeah, so I would say, do you think that Dre would have been as big without
if Eminem would have been
Eminem would have been big without Dre?
No, because I think meeting Dr. Dre changed everything for him. Dr. Dre at that particular time obviously was going through a huge transition, leaving Ruthless and starting Aftermath. Leaving Death Row because he'd already left Ruthless. So it was a big change for him. And as we all know, he left Death Row basically with nothing. Didn't have his catalog or anything like that, publishing, all of that good stuff. So it was just like, it was just him. and he didn't have a roster of artists to come with him, so he took a huge gamble on Eminem.
He did have one.
Who do you have? Oh, Snoop.
RBX.
Okay. What? Damn. Because wait a minute, Snoop. Well,
no, Snoop was trapped on death row.
Yeah, he was. Okay,
because because No Limit came right after that.
Yeah, he can't. You're right. So, so he had RBX, but that was it. So he didn't have anybody. He didn't have a household name to. He literally stepped out on his own, really and truly. And so, the idea of trying to, get it started with a guy that this white rapper from Detroit that nobody never heard of, who's dope. It was a gamble. It was a gamble for Dre. It was a gamble for Eminem.
One more thing. We forgot a big group that he had before Eminem on that.
Who's that?
The Firm.
Yeah, but they did that album. That was it, though.
But they were technically signed to Aftermath. The Firm.
Wow. But but Rakim was signed after. It's a whole. It's quite a few people that were signed to Aftermath.
No.
Never
that
came
list
out.
of people. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a podcast.
That's a whole nother, all the what ifs of everyone on Aftermath. Actually, I gotta write that down.
Listen, that list is long, and that's an all-star list of rappers and singers and stuff. But yeah, it was interesting, man, because it's like, you just don't know how it's going to go. And to gamble on, or take a chance, I shouldn't say gamble, but take a chance on Eminem says a lot about Dr. Dre. And it also says a lot about Eminem because the talent was there. You just don't know it. And I think if he had not gone to Dr. Dre, we would have probably never heard of him.
Okay, all right. I just went to the roster of the former artists. Eve was on there before Eminem too.
Oh yeah, I know Eve was
about Eve of Destruction.
Mm-hmm. Eve of Destruction. Yep.
King T. And this one I forgot all about. Don Robinson was signed there first in '97. Yep. So nobody came out. Only people that came out was The Firm and then Eminem. For anyone who want to keep a scorecard. As much as all those MCs I said and artists that I mentioned to come out. But so Eminem drops. When did you get hip to Eminem? When did you first hear Eminem?
Probably, I think I may have heard a song or two here or there on like a Clue tape. Shout out to the Clue tapes. But I don't think I really heard him and actually sat and listened to him until the first album came out. And I was like, I wasn't really sure because my first memory of him was Hi, My Name Is. And and that wasn't even on his first album, was it?
Yeah, it's on his first album.
Okay. So that was the first thing. So I was like, Hi, My Name Is sounded cheesy. It sounded corny. And then what you could see was it was starting to build, and once it got on MTV, the video, it was a rap.
Yep.
Like, and so it's just like, I was like, man, look at this shit right here. Like, they got this white boy and they're putting him on MTV. He ain't really rapping on this song. He's being silly. He's being goofy. Yep. And so I'm like, I kind of pushed it off as, what was this? This is like supposed to be a cool Vanilla Ice. But the only thing that kept me from totally dismissing him altogether was the fact that he was connected with Dre. And I was like, well, why would Dre be rocking with this novelty act? And so I had to kind of think a little bit deeper, like, is he good or not? Because this Hi, My Name Is, I hate that song. Like, I
hate it to this day.
Yeah, to this day. I won't play it. If it comes on TV or something, I change the channel. But then once I heard a couple other songs from the album, I was like, oh, he can rap. Like, he ain't bullshit. Like, he can really, really go. And I flipped my opinion of him. I just like, I was like, oh, this he's legit. So it just really took off from there. But that was my first introduction. The Hi, My Name Is probably the first song that I heard that I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But then once I started listening to him, and I remember hearing Guilty Conscience, and it was a couple other tracks that I liked off that first album. And I was like, okay, this, he's legit.
So this was the end of an era when I heard him. The first song I heard was the music video was, remember the jukebox or the box?
Yeah, I remember the box.
This is at the end of the box era because I believe it closed down around 2000. And so this is my senior year of high school, 98, 99.
Okay.
And I Just Don't Give a Fuck is his first single, technically.
Yep.
I literally was sitting studying and I just had the box on and I was like, who the fuck is that? And I looked up and it was a black and white. I was like, that's a white boy?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, whatever. I thought it was like, and it was, the video was kind of silly, but he could rap. And I was like, okay, all right, whatever. I won't see it, hear from him again. I bought the album before How My Name Is came out. So then I go to Music Land and I'm in there and I hear Brain Damage. Somebody playing, they're playing it on the thing. The album, it just came out on like that Tuesday.
Wow.
Because he didn't get a push. Hi, My Name Is was like after the album was out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey man, who is this right here? He was like, oh man, that's Eminem. I was like, Eminem? The dude that did I Just Don't Give a Fuck? Like, yeah. And that time you could actually preview some of the CDs. So I was like, okay. But then you couldn't, it wasn't like the Music Land one wasn't like Blockbuster Music where you could take the CD. Right. They only had select albums you could listen to. So it was one open for Eminem. So I went in there, I was like, dang, okay. Huh. Okay, I was like, oh shit, this is How My Name Is. Now I remember back then even like, no. I don't even that's not for me. But then like damn near every other song, Bonnie and Clyde, Guilty Conscience. I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna give this white boy a flyer. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and cop this. I wasn't even planning on it today. I'm gonna go ahead and cop this.
You better than me because I didn't do it.
but I heard the whole CD basically.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this, man. And I went ahead and bought it, man. And sad to say, that is the last Eminem CD I've ever bought as well.
Real, and you know what? You're not the only one.
I respect the hell of it, and I like the Marshall Mathers LP, but I just never bought it. I just got select songs off of there, and this is back in the Burning era, and I just took the couple of tracks I wanted off of there, every album for a while, making mixed CDs and stuff, and kept it pushing.
Bruh, that's the only one I ever bought, the Marshall Mathers LP. That was it.
I mean, so you didn't buy some silly LP?
No, I didn't buy it. I heard it.
So you bought was his second album.
Second album, yep.
Oh, so I'm the opposite. I only bought the first album.
And even the one, some people count the Marshall Mathers EP. I don't really count that as his album. But yeah, that was the first and last one I bought. And I'll be honest, and I tell people this all the time. And I'm gonna say this very slowly. I think Eminem is a phenomenal MC. I really enjoy hearing him rap. However,
he makes bad music now.
You know what? Not even the music now. Even his previous music, his music doesn't resonate with me for a long term. So I will listen to an album and like it, but it doesn't have a lot of replay value to me. So like I never go back to the Marshall Mathers LP. I never go back to any of his albums. So like I'll hear them, and like I said, the Marshall Mathers LP was the first and last album that I actually bought, but I haven't listened to it in its entirety in over probably 10 years. His albums, just the songs just don't resonate to where it sticks to you. Know, like you hear something, you're like, oh man, let me put this on, let me listen to it again. It just doesn't do that for me. And it's not, and maybe it's because like some of his subject matter had a lot of, shock value and stuff like that. And after you've heard it for a while, you're like, oh, okay. It's like, whatever, it's no big deal. It doesn't take away from the fact that he's a phenomenal MC and very revered. I get that part of it. Just personally for me, I just like the albums have very low replay value. So I'll listen a couple of times and then after that, I'm like, okay, I'm good. And I just never go back to him. And again, that takes nothing away from him because I think he's dope.
I think one of the things that helps him out as well is he has some of the best features though. He has a lot of great features as well, like standout features. Right. To me, he's similar, and before somebody, but listen to what I'm saying with this. He's similar to Busta Rhymes in a way with that, where I don't think Busta Rhymes hasn't had a completely good album, I feel, since Extinction Level Event. Yep,
I would agree.
But if you throw him on your song,
you let him do a feature, he's gonna crush it.
And even on the stuff with Flip Mode Squad stuff, if it's his verse is going to shine on the Flip Mode Squad songs, regardless if you like it or not. Like the album Flip Mode Squad or not, he's going to do well. But he just can't. It's like he just can't do a full album anymore at all, where you're like, yo, this Busta is going for a complete album, and not saying that they're comparable before. I'm just saying that that's the same thing.
Yeah. I totally understand where you come from. I agree. I think it's like M is, and he often gets mentioned in the pantheon of greatest MCs of all time. You ask a bunch of rap fans, there's going to be quite a few. If you ask them for their top 10, Eminem's going to be in their top 10. And that's cool. He's not in mine, but I know a lot of rap fans that will put Eminem, as far as lyrically, in their top 10. And, you can debate whether or not he deserves to be there or not. But I mean, he's dope as hell. And like you said, his features, I mean, like, he absolutely, I remember when Nas said Eminem murdered you on your own shit. And
like, literally that was a thing, folks. Like, that was like, everyone was thinking that. It's like a comedian that, like, when you're sitting there watching them on stage, and it's like, and this is gonna be a lame joke, y'all, but when you step on a crack, you don't break your mother's back. It was like a thing of like, of course I knew that, but you saying that made me realize, you're right.
I had not. I knew that he outshined Jay on that track, Renegade on Blueprint, which was Jay-Z's album. But it's just when Nas said it in Ether, I went back, it just kind of made me stop and like, let me go back and listen. So I went back and listened to it, and I was like, oh, he did murder him. Like, this
wasn't even a contest.
And then so you look at that, like, I remember what he did. Now, granted, it wasn't a single, and this song was done after Biggie passed, but Dead Wrong, his verse on Dead Wrong is probably one of my favorite Eminem verses.
Yes, like no question.
I mean, like, he crushed it. And I don't know, I'll say this, I don't know if Big were alive. I don't know if that album, if we get the same verse from Big, once Big would have heard Eminem's verse, because they weren't comparable. But I mean,
you think he would have flipped it?
He would have had to, because I don't think that wasn't like one of Biggie's. I mean, Biggie had a great verse, but Eminem's verse was like, whoa, like, wait a minute. And so, like, but he has incredible features. He has his hits. Eminem has mastered the skill of making hits. He knows what to give the audience. He knows what to give to MTV. He knows what to give to Top 40. He knows what to say and what to do as far as how to market. The music, I don't think is as good as it used to be from him, but he still has a ton of fans, and they're going to support him regardless of what comes out. And I've actually had people ask me, like, yo, what did you think about that last Eminem? I was like, I didn't hear it. It's like, you didn't hear it? No, I didn't hear it.
Yeah. It's not on my, I mean, I know it comes out because it's people talking about it.
Exactly, but no.
It's not on my radar to go ahead and let me cop this and check it out.
I think I heard a couple of songs from Encore, but I think that was the last album. And I don't know where in his discography that album is, but I think that's the last album that I've heard a song.
03?
Yeah. So I mean, like, so it's been that long. So it's like his music comes out. I'm not necessarily checking for it. I don't diss it. I'm just not checking for it like that. But he's I still understand and recognize the fact that he's still an incredible MC. You put him on a BT cipher, he's gonna kill it. You put him on your feature, he's gonna kill it. Like you said, I think Busta's a great comparison. The idea of packaging an entire album, or even better.
I'm Doja. They sleep. Yeah, we part of Just Posted Podcast, man. The best show on this network. Come on, check, though.
Seriously, man. Just Posted. It's just me and Doja sitting back talking about what the fuck going on in the world and the streets.
We said labor of love. He said labor of love. I ain't say that shit. Shout out to everybody coming to watch though, man. We really appreciate y'all. Holla at y'all later.
Hey man, this nigga just tall for no reason.
I'm gone.
And he do regular jobs. Don't forget that.
As a listener sitting and listening to an entire album for 45, 50 minutes, we're probably not there with Eminem anymore. At least I know I'm not.
Yeah,
and I'm definitely not there with Busta.
I think most hip hop heads would feel the same way, honestly. Because have you heard the LL's new album, right?
No, I haven't heard it. I've been dragging my heels. Everybody, listen, D. There has not been one person that said it was. Everybody that I talked to said it was dope.
No,
I just haven't heard it. I got to listen to it.
I didn't know LL would do this. To be honest,
okay,
it's that good. But in an Eminem verse on her, you're gonna hear it and you're gonna be like, why don't you rap like this all the time?
I mean,
like, why don't you? Like, why? Why are you doing this other lame stuff?
Well, the thing is, if you're on the track with LL, you can't come whack. So,
right, but I'm saying, but just do this all the time. It's like just simple math.
Hey, man,
Same thing with Busta. Like, just do that all the time.
Some nights you're gonna get. Some nights you step in the gym, you're gonna score 30 points.
Right.
And then other nights, most nights you're gonna get 14. And so this is where we are with guys. This is where we and personally, I mean, this is subject for another day. I think that's where Jay-Z is, but that's another subject for another day because
no. I mean, that's a whole
I'm very disappointed.
I think we're giving Jay-Z a senior PGA level up.
I gotta use that. I gotta use
senior PGA props. You know right. What I mean? I don't even know because it's so many different things. They used to show senior PGA on regular TV, folks. Man, like we only had like 6 channels. At least I know I didn't have cable coming up.
Right.
And you would turn on a Saturday, and then it'd be Jack Nicholson on there, and all these older guys, and they'd be like, "Yeah, he's still in form." And then you find out he's 74.
Right.
There's no way he's going to compete with like Greg Norman and the guys that are on the tour.
He's on the senior PGA tour.
But they're talking him up. Like Jack Nicholson still got it.
Yeah.
And what was the one dude that used to do the little chop thing with his
Chichi Rodriguez?
Yes, he would be on there. They'd be like, let's go to the 14th hole where Chichi Rodriguez is.
Yep,
and then you look and see where he is. He in 15th place. And you're like, what
dead last.
Like, hold on, what are we doing here? So that's
that's where we are with a lot of rap. And it's not because we're older, it's just that they're not, doing what they are used to doing.
Yeah, and they may not love it as much. Like Cameron said that one time, I think that Nas loves hip hop more than Jay-Z does.
I mean, Nas is a perfect example. I mean, Nas, you can make the case that with this last 5 or 6 year run of these albums, he's gotten better. And that's saying a lot because he was already supremely dope. So
look, I am a person that goes out there on a limb. I'm a bigger Nas fan than Jay. That's just me.
Right.
And I feel like this part of his career has made him. If you're not a logical person, you could say that Nas eclipsed Jay-Z in these last few years because he's been able to do this in the twilights of his career.
Yeah, I think lyrically Nas is better, and I think he's been better for a while. And I don't know that people necessarily want to admit to that, And then you got the whole Vengers,
look.
They're going to tell you Jay-Z's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But
and literally, I believe that they're and like 70% are cast offs from Biggie.
Of course.
And it's done. Look, Biggie's one of my guys. I'm just saying that they just needed someone to attach to. I needed MC.
Listen, man, that's their hero, man. So that nobody wants to see their hero down and out.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just not there.
But Eminem, so if Eminem does not sign to Dre, does D12 kick off? Does he go at Royce? Does Royce even get shot? And there's so many tentacles of this. Does Detroit scene even come up? Is it just Dilla doing production? Does Slum Village even rise up because of this? Because Eminem did put a light on Detroit.
Oh, of course,
in a heavy way.
Of course. I think you still see what Dilla was moving around. Shout out to Dilla. You see him on my t-shirt.
You only see production. I'm saying
just production side. You'll get. I think you still get Slum Village. I think Dilla's the greatest producer, beat maker in hip hop history. That's just my personal opinion. So I think Dilla and his crew and his camp still shine. I don't know D12. You never get D12 off the ground, but even more importantly, if you don't have Eminem under Dr. Dre, then you never get 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And so if you never get 50 Cent, you subsequently don't get G Unit. So the Dr. Dre, tree, and then subsequently the Eminem tree is very large. And so if Eminem is not with Dr. Dre, I don't know that we ever get 50 Cent because, they were willing to still, stick with it. And it's not to say that 50 wouldn't have made it, but not the way that he did. And everything was the timing of it.
Somewhat blackballed on the East Coast at the time too.
Of course. And then once he got
options to go with them.
Right. And then once he got shot, there were a lot of labels and people that were pulling out because they were like, okay, well, no, we can't rock with this guy because they didn't know either if he was going to be shot or in jail. And so, a lot of people backed off, and then him going at it with Supreme, it was just like a bad mix. And so, Eminem who wasn't in the streets was able to, kind of sift through all of that stuff, get 50 signed, and then it kind of took off from there. And then and again, both of them under Dre. So long story short, if Eminem doesn't sign with Dr. Dre, we never hear of Eminem. I don't think, especially not on this level. You definitely don't get D12, and you're almost certain that the version of 50 Cent that we have, we never get. So subsequently, you think about everything else that 50 produced as far as like G Unit and then now into TV and film, and none of that stuff happens if subsequently Dr. Dre does not sign Eminem.
And in this point, is Eminem like the Jackie Robinson of this? Do we not get a lot of subsequently of these other right rappers after him that are able to look at and get shine? Does G-Eazy get a look in the modern time?
I think some of those guys do, but because like because we mentioned the third base, the Beastie Boys. So we had, it wasn't like we didn't have white rappers before these guys.
Not commercial.
Eminem. Yeah, but I mean, Eminem kicked the door down. Yeah. I mean, like, because Eminem was able to tap into MTV in a way that third base never could, in a way that the Beastie Boys did. So you can say the Beastie Boys paved the way.
Yeah, but they went more rock with the
they were definitely more rebel, more rock. I mean, Eminem, for what it's worth, like, he attacked, superstars. He talked shit about Britney Spears and people like that, people that were on top. And he came in the game in this underdog role, and he embraced it. And he was with Dr. Dre. And so, like, nobody was gonna co-sign. Nobody's gonna say that co-sign alone. Nobody's gonna question whether or not he was dope or not. So they knew he was dope. But I think he set himself apart. That's for sure.
Yeah. So we don't get Royce. I don't know if we get Royce.
Not like that. Not on that level. No.
Because Royce, we wouldn't got Royce. No D12. I mean, you could even get deeper and say you don't get any Big Sean either.
Yeah, not on that level. No,
you don't get Big Sean. I'm thinking of who else that was coming out of Detroit that's been doing their thing. I mean, I'm not saying that artists wouldn't have been able to break through, but he made the path open up more for them to be able to come through. That is interesting with Eminem, because his case for a top 10 rapper is there. But it's like, it's like I'm trying to think of a player. Because I was gonna say Carmelo Anthony. That he's Carmelo Anthony, but no, he's like, because I would say Eminem's got a ring. Mm-hmm. So because he's got some championship rings.
He's definitely a championship pedigree, that's for sure.
But I'm just thinking of someone that has championship pedigree. Mm-hmm. That you don't want to put in the Hall of Fame, though, for real. Right? But you have to, right? But you're like, man, I really like their game that much. Mm-hmm. But I can't hate on them dropping 25 a night. You know what I mean?
You can't. And he's been solid. He is, to his credit, he's been very solid.
He's got some hell of a verses. The Way I Am is my favorite Eminem song, and like he's just rolling on that song. It's just that. And maybe he knew, because from all intents and purposes, he still was kicking it. He's still hip hop though. He almost was like the sheep in wolf's clothing. He will go over there and play with them, and then go back to regular hip hop and be hanging out with Proof in them. Like,
and he could dabble in both.
He didn't do it and no disrespect to Hammer when I say this. He didn't do a full on pop move where it was like, I'm only doing pop stuff. Mm-hmm. You never saw Eminem on Family Matters or something like that. Like he never fully crossed over. Like he did cross over, but it's like it was a weird, like you said, it's a weird thing where he would play around in there and then jump back, and then you wouldn't see him. He'd play around over here on MTV, and then he wouldn't be like, no, I'm not gonna do that, or I'm gonna do this. You didn't see him in Wheaties commercials. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. And the thing is, like you said, he had the ability to do both, and he never betrayed, his allegiance to hip hop. So he could have made.
And you know what? And a lot of things. And I know Lord Jamar likes to hate on Eminem a lot, but
Lord Jamar hates on everybody.
Yeah, fair enough. But I have to respect Eminem because he could have really bastardized this situation.
Oh, no,
it's like Yes, he did get more props because he is a white MC and able to cross over. But he could have took it. Like I could just imagine what he could have really done with it. Right. Like being a white guy that was pop, like he could have did way more. Mm-hmm. Like I just think about what Vanilla Ice did with one single. Mm-hmm. Eminem had like 2-3 albums that he could have literally.
He could have wrote it all the way
and just pimped it out. And just pimped it out, pimped hip hop out to the masses. There's other black rappers that have done worse to hip hop than Eminem has.
No question. And he, like I said, he always seemed to, at least to us, seem to stay true to who he was, and then stay true to his version of hip hop. So, he could have made 15 I ams. My name is. He could have made 15 my name is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He did.
and nobody would have been able to say anything. But he kept it hip hop and he stayed in that lane. So at the end of the day, I can't be mad at him for that.
Yeah. So my final question: do you think he also saved Dr. Dre's career? But not his career, the label.
He definitely helped save the label because, again, it's literally hit or miss for Dr. Dre.
Remember that Aftermath Entertainment album?
Yeah, I remember. Been there, done that.
That was it. And we've been there and then we done that, and that was it.
So, he had that single, and that was kind of lukewarm. And then they did the video, and it was like, Dre in a ballroom dancing and tuxes and stuff like that. I don't know if we feeling this.
Yeah,
but you could make a case that he definitely helped save Dr. Dre because, at that point, Dre doesn't, he doesn't have. He had already, the Chronic is over at death row. So, and everybody from the Chronic is at death row with the exception of RBX. So he's literally starting from scratch, but I mean, he rebuilt his brand and, he definitely had Eminem to thank for it. And then subsequently, 50 Cent and then all of this other stuff, this music and teasing the idea of detox, which we never got.
That's a topic, y'all. That is definitely
so yeah. I think to answer your question,
got multiple topics potentially.
Oh yeah, listen, we could. It's a lot of what ifs. It's a lot of what ifs. But yeah, I think there's a strong case can be made. The fact that Eminem definitely helped. If he didn't save it, he definitely helped save Dr. Dre and Aftermath.
Yeah, it's the whole Aftermath thing is just all because so Eminem is the third album to come out on Aftermath. Mm-hmm. So you're right because he got the label, I believe, in 97?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 96, March 96. It was founded, and you didn't get a good album on your label till almost 2000. Not February 99 is when Eminem drops, and that album didn't start bubbling till later. So let's say April. So it took you 3 years to get your label to get one. I mean, the Firm album, it went platinum, but it was like people were buying it off the strength. I don't think it was people were buying the Firm album off the strength that it was Nas, AZ, Foxy. And
I actually like that. I mean, a lot of people.
I like that album.
I like that album. Yeah. I liked it a lot.
That's another thing of. Do you really need to bring nature in? Do you need to work it out with Cormega and just bring them on back in? Because I think that album would have been, bigger if Cormega was there. But that's just my personal opinion.
Right.
All right. Well, Kyle, we'll let everybody know where they can hit you up at, man.
Definitely. Check me out. I've got 2 podcasts, the 12 Kyle podcast and the Rap Soul podcast. Both are out on all streaming platforms. You can find them wherever you listen and watching here. We're also on YouTube as well. Again, 12 Kyle podcast and the Rap Soul podcast. I'm on social media at 12 Kyle. So check me out. If you're into dope music content, Rap Soul podcast, we talk about music from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, dealing with rap, soul music, hip hop, and R&B. The 12 Kyle podcast is a mix of just about everything. My thoughts. But just dope podcasts. If you like me, if you like what I'm vibing with, come check me out. It's like a potato chip. You eat one,
you're gonna like it.
You'll like it, and you'll eat another. So I say that about the podcast. So if you listen to one episode, I promise you'll listen to another one.
Yeah, shout out to you, Kyle. No, we'll be back with another episode
for sure.
Peace.
5Gs.
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Ifs, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what-could-have-beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at